Yo, what's good YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoop, back with the World Showdown series, and we've got Season 6 and our week number 5 battle here. Facing off against the Crystal Crawdaunts, who are currently, I think, upon the top of the league at 4-0, with just a barely differential, better than the undefeated team we faced last season, or excuse me, last week. So yeah, back-to-back undefeated opponents, and we're sitting at 0-4 right now, so it's not looking too great for us. Um, we're struggling using our squad. Definitely not finding our rhythm with it yet. Not even close. So yeah, I took a little bit, um, not necessarily extra time on this battle, but I did, analyze a few things just a little bit more in depth, and definitely going to try to win the rest of my games. So week 5, week 6, week 7, week 8, week 9, week 10, and week 11. We got to get those wins. 5 or 6 losses, and we're looking at no playoffs, and we've already got 4 losses. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. There's not too much, you know, that I can say about it. It's my fault. I'm not playing well. I'm not building well, and if I can't break the trend, then I'm just gonna keep losing. So that's pretty much that. Um, so we're facing off against the Crystal Crawdaunts, and as you can see on screen, he has a pretty scary squad. He's got Tapu Koko, which is the mon I consider the best Pokemon in the format, unless like McGarren is allowed, or some of those broken mons, Protein Greninja or so. Anyway, like last week, yeah. Anyways, we he's got Tapu Koko, Victini, Blissey, Salamence, Cobalion, Shaman, Hitmontop, Jellicent, Piloswine, Xatu, and the Mega Beedrill. And Mega Beedrill, I don't even know if that looks like a Mega down there, but it's supposed to be Mega Beedrill. And it's his entire team is scary. Tapu Koko, Victini, Salamence, Cobalion, and Mega Beedrill. Very, very solid offensive, pressure mons. They hit hard. They have the ability to potentially set up and be completely insane. And then he's got things like Blissey, Shaman, Hitmontop, Jellicent, Piloswine, and then Xatu. So he's got a lot of fat mons, a lot of bulk, and at the same time he's got some mons that could have some techs or just be extremely annoying. So all that being said, I felt like the best way, not necessarily the best way to approach the match, but I felt like Tapu Koko and Victini are givens versus any squad. Especially Tapu Koko, as good as it is, like he's definitely bringing Tapu Koko, and I have a Dugtrio, so he may be forced to run a Scarf Koko with U-turn, or he might be forced to run Shed Shell, Tapu Koko, Shed Shell, Victini, potentially even, and I decided to run as you see on screen, I have the Dugtrio on the squad, and we're running a Choice Scarf variant this week to try to catch the Koko and trap it, click Earthquake and eliminate it. Same thing for Victini. If we can trap it, click Earthquake and eliminate it, that would be fantastic. And I guess we could even trap and eliminate Cobalion, potentially even Mega Beedrill. If it's taking like a round of rocks, it should die to Earthquake. I am afforded to run an Adamant Nature on my Dugtrio, and we have Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Memento. And that's the first thing I noticed that I wanted to bring. And then I'm going to talk about the rest of the team, in order like I normally do. So we've got the Aegislash there. It's our first mon. And we've got a kind of a mixed defense variant with King Shield, Shadow Claw, Shadow Sneak, and Sacred Sword. I packed the Shadow Sneak there so we could potentially, if we're, facing off against a weakened Koko or a weakened Victini, a weakened Mega Beedrill, a weakened Xatu, I can go ahead and click that Sneak and go ahead and eliminate them without having to take any damage, which is really nice. And King Shield's there just so that we can always get back into our stance, get back to those base 150 defenses. That's really nice. And Sacred Sword is there for the Cobalion, which could be problematic otherwise. And it's there for the Blissey as well, as Blissey is immune to ghost type moves, which you guys know that. Anyways, next up we have Hydreigon, and this Hydreigon's a little bit strange. I'm rocking an Adamant Nature with 36 speed EVs. I've got 108 attack EVs, and then I'm super bulky on the defensive side, 248 HP EVs. I've got 116 defense EVs, and this thing is basically here to be able to. This thing can 1v1 a Blissey with taunt and roost. I can taunt it, prevent it from, getting stealth rocks up, prevent it from clicking toxic or anything, any kind of weird shenanigans. It can't recover versus me thanks to taunt it, and I can always roost up if he goes for seismic toss and such like that. And like I mentioned, we have crunch, or I'm an adamant nature, so we have crunch and earthquake there. It's going to be doing a whole lot more than dark pulse or earth power would be to the rest of the squad as well, except for maybe like Cabalion. It could take an earthquake probably better than it could take an earth power. But yeah, just 2 attacks, crunch and earthquake. Crunch hits everything on his squad for neutral damage outside of Coco and the Cabalion and the Hitmontop, which, earthquake will do enough to those. And like, I'm not really going to be staying in versus a Hitmontop that could go for Mach Punch anyway. And we have the Darkinium Z, so that we have a Black Hole Eclipse off of one of our crunches. If crunch is a roll or he's completely out of range of crunch, he could be in range of a Black Hole Eclipse, so that's something to keep in mind. And yeah, I really hope Hydreigon can put into work in this match. Anyways, next up we have Mega Gardevoir, which is going to be a timid, max speed, max HP set, and it seems like I have no firepower, but this thing's base special attack is so high that it actually does have firepower with no special attack investment. But even so, I am a substitute Calm Mind variant with just dual stab, Psyshock, and Hyper Voice. And I noticed that I could potentially set up on something like a Blissey. I could set up on a Victini that just went for Recreate. I can set up on a Salamence that has not boosted, potentially, unless it wants to go for like an inaccurate Iron Tail or something like that. I can set up on with max HP, unless Shaman's, offensive or physically offensive. Even if it's specially offensive, it could potentially not break my sub, or after Calm Mind, it definitely doesn't break my sub. So I can set up on that. I force out the Hitmontop as well and can set up on it. And after a Calm Mind, I can actually set up on the Jellicent as well. So lots of cool things that Mega Gardevoir can do. But Mega Beedrill is a fine revenge killer, so that's why it's really nice for my squad in this matchup to have Aegislash to be able to switch in on that, to have Rotom Heat to switch in on that, and Licky Licky to switch in on that, and then the Dugtrio to trap it. So speaking of Rotom Heat switching in on Mega Beedrill, we have Rotom Heat with leftovers, more of a defensive variant, but we are a calm nature with Volt Switch, Overheat, Rest, and Toxic. Basically, I think I would trade Toxics with anything on his squad that's not like Shaman or Blissey. I obviously don't want to just Toxic them and then switch out and take the Toxic myself. That would be unfortunate. But versus the Xatu, which could bounce back a Toxic, I can just Volt Switch out. And I do have Rest on my Rotom in case I do get Toxic by something like the Blissey or something. So next up we have the Dugtrio. Like I mentioned earlier, it's Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Memento with the Choice Scarf, Adamant Natured, and enough speed to, I think, outpace potentially a Choice Scarf Victini. And then we have the Licky Licky, which is going to be more of a defensive variant with Earthquake, Ice Beam, Protect, and Wish. Passes wishes off to things like Rotom Heat and Aegislash, and they really, really much appreciate that. And then I guess something like a Gardevoir that's, set up a couple subs or something and didn't really get anything out of it, I can throw a Wish into that as well, which would potentially be really, really nice. I think the squad looks pretty okay on paper. I didn't test the team or anything like that. I haven't tested. I've been playing in the World Showdown Series, the Continental Pokemon Conference, and just started the Pokemon Battle Federation as well, and getting ready to start another league. So I don't really do mock battles unless I'm in like 1 or 2 leagues at a time, and like I'm facing off against some, and it's like a high caliber match, or a high stakes match I should say. I kind of consider all my matches high caliber. I would like to, first of all, I don't want to play bad competition, and second of all, I don't even want to disrespect opponents either, in terms of saying they're bad or anything like that. But yeah, that's going to be it for the team prep, and we can go ahead and hop into the battle and see how things went. Alright, so here we are with the replay. My opponent chooses to bring the Hitmontop, Shaman, Tapu Koko, Victini, Mega Beedrill, and the Salamence, where his only Z-move option on this squad is the Salamence. I don't know if I actually mentioned that in the team prep video, but or the segment of team prep, but Blissey has the ability to be offensive or status Z-moves, and then so does Zatu with offense and status Z moves. And then he's got Salamence, which can only use offensive Z moves. So, like, no status Z moves or anything like that. But, yeah, his only, like, he didn't bring a Stealth Rocker in this match, which is really nice. Maybe he felt like he would be prioritizing removing hazards himself, which kind of confuses me as well, because he does bring Hitmontop, which could remove hazards without removing both sides of the field's hazards. But then I do have the Aegislash, which is going to be always able to prevent that thing from spinning. So he could be like Defog Mega Beedrill or Defog Salamence. Either way, I couldn't take the risk of it just being like, you know, overlooking Salamence as a Defog Mon and not like a setup sweeper or something like that. So I just wanted to keep all that in mind. And my only Stealth Rocker in this matchup is Dugtrio. So he could lead something like Shaman to try to catch me off guard with, you know, his own lead or something like that. I wasn't real sure what he would do, so I just felt like maybe Tapu Koko, or excuse me, not Tapu Koko. Felt like Rotom Heat was my best lead because it leads well against Shaman, and I can Volt Switch versus everything. He doesn't have a ground type, so I felt like leading Rotom Heat was my best lead. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lead off with my Fajita, and he leads off with Tapu Oh No, which is Koko, obviously. So it's just gonna see what he's gonna go for here. I think I throw off a Toxic. I'm not real sure. Yeah, I do throw off a Toxic here as he goes out into the Shaman. Now I can throw off a Overheat, or I can just Volt Switch out. And I'm just going to Volt Switch out, predicting him to switch out into either Victini or his Salamence to take the Overheat. And he does just that. He goes out into the Victini, and we're going to try to trap him here with the Dugtrio and see if he is Shed Shell. And if he is, that's okay. We do have to click Earthquake here. We can't just set up Rocks in case he's not Shed Shell. Rocks here, if we think he's 100% Shed Shell, then Rocks is the play, but we can't risk it. We do have to just click Earthquake here, as he does go out to a Shaman, revealing that he was Shed Shell, so that's pretty nice. We're just going to hard switch out here into our Aegislash as he goes for the Leech Seed, which is a little bit unfortunate here, and we can't really hit this thing too hard, so what we're going to do is just hard switch out into our Rotom Heat, as he actually goes out into his Hitmontop. So we have Rotom Heat versus Hitmontop here, and I thought about Volt Switching, but I didn't want him to get any damage off versus me, so I went hard into my Gardevoir here instead. And this is a fine play because I have 4 times resist close combat, so had he went for that, it wouldn't have been too big of an issue. But yeah, he does bring his Victini in as I brought in my Gardevoir, so I had to hard switch out into my Rotom, and he was able to U-turn out into his Mega Beedrill and get that momentum back. So now he's got the momentum and got me trapped in the Volturn core, the vortex is what I should call it. Anyways, I don't have a reason to really overpredict here. I assume he's going to go for the U-turn because he can't knock me out here, and I can go for the Overheat. So my play here is to just click Volt Switch. I don't necessarily need to get Overheat damage on this thing. If he attacks and I can Volt Switch out into the Dugtrio, then I can trap it and knock it out anyway. But he brings in his Mints here, and we're going to Volt Switch back out into our Gardevoir and bluff that we're max speed, which we are max speed, so it wasn't really a bluff. And we throw off a Hyper Voice there, and it does quite a bit to Shaman, despite us not having much offensive investment. But he revealed Leech Seed earlier, so I'm going to take this opportunity to set up a substitute and see what my opponent can do from here. And he goes for the Leech Seed, so now we're behind the sub, and we can start Calm Minding up. And if he can't break our sub immediately, we're in a pretty solid position here. As he goes for the Giga Drain, he's not able to break our sub, and he's forced hard out into his Koko as we click Calm Mind again. Now, I'm pretty sure that this thing had U-turn, so I wanted to scout what he was going to go for. And he does go for the U-turn as we're able to bring out, excuse me, not bring out, but substitute once again, meaning we're behind the sub as he goes back into Victini here. Now I'm just going to click Hyper Voice. It should be a 2-hit KO, regardless of what he goes for. And yeah, it does over 50% there, which is phenomenal. And Shadow Ball doesn't even break our sub, and we're able to 2-hit KO this thing. We did win 2 speed ties there, potentially. If he's max speed, we won 2 speed ties there, which is really nice for us. But he goes into his Mega Beedrill here, and I'm pretty sure that he's just going to go for the, U-turn out into something. And he does that. He does just that. I thought about subbing up, but had he went for Poison Jab there, that would have been, I would have just lost 25% for nothing. So Psyshock was definitely my play, and he does U-turn out into the Coco, which, gives me Coco. Now I don't have to worry about that thing for the rest of the match. Now he brings back in his Mega Beedrill here and reveals Substitute of his own, so that's really nice as I go out into my blob here. And we do have enough bulk to avoid a 2-hit KO from Poison Jab, as well as enough attack investment to break this thing's sub with Earthquake. As he brings in Salamence, goes straight for the Dragon Dance, and I couldn't allow it to set up, or it would have been a choke. So I had to just click Ice Beam there and hope that he didn't attack immediately, and it worked out phenomenally for me. We were able to eliminate Victini, Coco, and now the Salamence as well, and caught our Wish back on the same turn. So what we could do here is go out into our Gardevoir, or we could just pass off another Wish again. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click Wish here, predicting him to click anything except Close Combat, and then I'm going to Heart Switch out into my Gardevoir the following turn, take the Close Combat, which is a 120 base move there, and it does 13% to my Gardevoir, and I get the Wish back, which gives me another substitute if I want it. But I'm going to go for the I went for the Hyper Voice in case he clicked Earthquake. I didn't want to sub and him just break my sub. So, and if he Heart Switched out into Shaman, it goes back to this anyway. All I need is a Calm Mind up and then a sub up, and then I should be fine. He's going to Heart Switch out into his Mega Beedrill here, though, as I get up a sub. Basically, he's going to U-turn out here to break my sub and potentially sack something else. But my play is basically to just keep subbing up until I'm in a favorable matchup like this, where I'm able to knock out the Hitmontop. He brings back in the Mega Beedrill here, and I'm not going to sub up again. I had no reason to. Had he U-turned out into his Shaman, I would have knocked it out and could have potentially set up another sub versus it anyway. And then he would have had to bring in his Mega Beedrill and break my sub, where I would have been at 1% anyway and would have knocked him out. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much a game. Mega Gardevoir going ham versus the #1 team in the league. So really happy about that. And that's going to give us a nice 6-0 victory to kind of pull us out of the depths of hell so far. I think we still don't even have a good differential, even with a 6-0 here. After 4 losses, it's been pretty bad. But this could give us the momentum we need to bounce forward. So good game to Crystal. Good luck the rest of the season. And next up we'll be facing Tony, which is always a fun time. Anyways, that's going to be it. Let me know what you thought about the prep and the plays on both sides of the field. Let me know what you guys thought about Shed Shell Victini and the Dugtrio being there to trap things. And what did you guys think about sub Mega Gardevoir and sub Mega Beedrill? So yeah, it's going to be it. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, all the good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.